Good morning, Waterloo Region. It is Monday, August the 26th, 2019. We have a show that's full of music and social justice today. We're going to start off with a little bit of wake-up music from Alienator. Hailing from Thunder Bay, this is Intravenous Flytrap.
Well, if nobody asks, I guess there's nothing to say. You can avoid all contact. Looking other way, stay indoors, play it safe. But then again, well, your neighbors are trying to get around. Get around. The dirty of the dog, you can go. Well, if nobody asks, it seems like nobody asks. It looks like nobody asks. Shut up, there's nothing to say. Avoid eye contact. Avoid eye contact. Avoid eye contact. Look the other way. Nobody asked. And well, if nobody asks, it seems like nobody asks. Shut up, there's nothing to say. Avoid eye contact. Avoid eye contact. Avoid eye contact. To the road. You're the road. You're the
Is Binoculars, and we started off the set with Alienator. Alienator wrote to us and said, "Hi guys, we're a sludge noise rock band from Thunder Bay, and we'd love it if you'd consider it for airplay." So we played Intravenous Flytrap. We got the whole album available in our digital library, and you'll be hearing more from Alienator later on, possibly in the show, and definitely in our sludge rock rotation show. That was followed by Binoculars, a couple of tracks from Binoculars, a band from Montreal, where Vernon wrote to us and said, "My name is Vernon LeCraw, and I play in the band Binoculars from Montreal. We're coming to Waterloo to play a benefit show for OneROOF Youth Services on September the 7th. I'm reaching out to you to propose a drop-in conversation interview on that same day." Well, can't do it on September the 7th because CKMS Community Connections only airs on Monday, and that's what you're listening to, CKMS Community Connections. But what Vernon did is he said, well, if we can't come in, why don't we talk to the person who's organizing the benefit show, and that's Trevor Helms. Welcome, Trevor Helm.
How's it going?
Pretty good.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're very welcome. So I'm very glad that Vernon put us in touch.
Likewise.
And all the information I have about the benefit concert is largely what Vernon wrote and the poster you've just provided for us. So there's a poster here, which will be probably up on our podcast page later on. But tell me what it's all about.
So we are doing our second annual benefit show. Last year we did it for the Wildlife Defense League out of British Columbia. This year we chose to do OneROOF Youth Services in a local charity here in Kitchener-Waterloo, who is they're an outreach program, youth services program for at-risk and youth experiencing homelessness. They provide a couple of beds. They do food programs and hygiene programs and other services. So yeah, this year we decided to go with a bigger lineup and do a full day show.
You've got a lot of bands on here.
Yeah, there's 25.
Wow.
And it ranges from rock to punk and hardcore to hip hop to acoustic, and everything in between. So there's a little bit of something for everyone. And yeah, basically.
Quick run on date, time, place.
So it's September 7th. September 7th, which is a Saturday. It's taking place at Harmony Lunch. The doors will be at 2:00 in the afternoon. Mm-hmm. It's $10. Pay what you can. All the proceeds go to OneROOF Youth Services here in Kitchener. Yeah.
Yeah. So if it starts at 1 o'clock, you said you've got 25 bands. Then how long is this going to go?
It's going to go probably until 1 a.m.
1 a.m.
The last band I have slotted, which is Binoculars, to headline and start at around 12 o'clock.
Wow. That's like 12 hours of music.
Should be a really good day.
That does sound good. So Fight for Youth. That's how did you get in contact with OneROOF? You're not from OneROOF yourself.
No, I'm not. So my wife actually was the one who suggested it. She had done work there before in the kitchen serving.
Okay.
And I have a few friends who have experienced homelessness and were a part of the program a while back. So it just kind of seemed fitting, especially, I don't know, in the punk scene, there tends to be some youth who are experiencing or at risk of homelessness, and just kind of community-wise to help out.
I tend to think it's probably effect and cause rather than cause and effect. You know, the people who've experienced the homeless, experienced the trauma, tend to express that in music, and punk looks to be an ideal genre to express that kind of stuff in.
It's a very, very good outlet for it, and I mean, any genre of music really is.
I suppose.
But yeah, it seems to be that in the more outlying genres like punk and hardcore and
black metal, all those invigorating genres of music.
Right.
Yeah. Got something on the bottom here. Rest in power, Cody Andrews.
So Cody Andrews was my best friend. He was killed by a drunk driver in 2016, just outside of London. He used to promote and organize shows, and that's why I started promoting and organizing shows under the name DCHC, as in memory of him. And September 8th was the day that he was killed. Unfortunately, this year, that's a Sunday. So this year we're doing the show on the 7th, and
Okay, so it's a nice tribute with the type of music that he would have been promoting himself.
Yes.
Excellent. Yeah. OneROOF is in downtown Kitchener.
Yes.
I think they're just on Queen Street here. And I hear that they've been having some trouble with their location. I understand that developers are wanting to descend on the area. And they have to find a new location.
I honestly don't know too much about it, but it seemed like, from what I've heard, same thing that's been happening around the downtown core.
Yeah.
Just the smaller businesses, smaller organizations being pushed out, and the larger condo developments or corporations like Google, for example, coming in and buying out all the property that's available. And
we've had Brian Doucette, professor at University of Waterloo, talk about that, and I was saying that it's not to the developer's interest to do the social justice stuff, have the affordable housing, the subsidized housing, the assistive housing, because that doesn't provide revenue for them, to maximize their revenue. And that generally means at the expense of people who aren't able to fill their coffers with money.
Which unfortunately now, especially since the development of the LRT pushing prices of rentals and housing way up, more and more people seem to be facing that, whether it's at risk of, or maybe just can't make your bills on time, or whatever it is, because that payment is just too much.
And so these places, OneROOF, other shelters, organizations that help out, are being moved out of the core of Kitchener, where I think the services are probably more needed than in outlying districts. I mean, people do come to the core of the city because, that used to be where the services were.
And historically, that's where they are in almost every city, is the core. And lately it seems to be that, even other cities as well, the cores are kind of pushing out the
and that sometimes that's done by legislation too. Back in the Vancouver Olympics, for example, we heard that there were actually municipal legislation to get people off the streets, what are these people supposed to do? It's so they need the services like OneROOF, and I'm glad you're providing some support for them. You said something about DCHC.
So DCHC, it's just a stupid name that some kids gave our group of friends back like 15 years ago now.
Using force in the community.
So once Cody passed away, it just seemed fitting to do it in his memory, and yeah.
So DCHC is what?
It stands for Death Crew Hardcore.
Death Crew Hardcore.
Again, so we were from outside of the city, came into Kitchener, and the group of friends, we kind of, stuck together, and people didn't overly like that.
Do you yourself perform music, or?
Yes, I recently started a band. We actually just had our 4th show last night in Hamilton, called Backbreaker, to boy punk.
Okay. Any recordings online that we can sample?
There's a couple of live recordings, but beyond that, nothing yet. We're working on writing and recording right now.
Excellent. So as soon as you've got a repertoire to fill a half an hour or so, come on back to the studio and we'll line you up against the wall and point a microphone in your direction.
Happily, anytime.
It's been lots of fun. We had the boys and I in last week. James Blacktop and the gang. I see they're on the list here too.
Yeah. There's a few people here, I believe, who've either been on this program or other Radio Waterloo programs, and quite a few of them are local artists.
Yeah. The Parallax Era is on here, one of the very first groups that we had on CKMS Community Connections. And you've told me that Dylan from CKMS, he's I think he's our outreach coordinator, or he does a lot of the show promotions in the area, a lot of the live to air stuff for CKMS. And he's involved somehow. Yeah,
so his cassette company, 39's Compact Cassettes, they're doing a compilation cassette for the benefit show, which will be on sale at the benefit show.
Excellent.
It won't include everybody, unfortunately.
12 hours of music is a lot of stuff to get on a cassette.
But it should be a good lineup. And yeah.
Excellent. So probably contact 39's to get that. And you said you'll have them available the night of the performances.
Yeah. And any time after that, there are still copies left.
I expect
available.
That if anybody wants to get a copy of that, they can contact the station.
Definitely.
Office at radiowaterloo.ca, and we'll pass it on to those people that distribute the cassettes.
And Dylan will definitely have some copies as well.
Yeah. So how do you go about setting up a concert like this? I mean,
well, the first thing I did was make a post into a bunch of different music and touring groups across Canada on Facebook. Looking for artists.
So you're picking each individual artist and sending them a message on Facebook?
No, through the group, I just made the post, and then they reached out to me and sent me music and whether or not they could make it on. Asked once they knew the information, and then from that, I picked this set of bands out of it and artists. And then after that, I started looking for sponsors, which a few of them are the same sponsors we had last year, like Civilian, who's doing the t-shirts, and Have Hope, who is another promoter in town who's helping promote and do the printing. And then United Rebels out of Toronto is making up some pins for us, and Trash or Salt Print Shop is doing up the patches for us, and then Sparrow Group, which is Harmony Lunch, provided the venue. And
they've all donated their time and materials to
help out
and contribute to OneROOF.
Yes, exactly. Contribute to OneROOF. And basically the only thing I really had to do was promote and make posts about it, talk about it.
You make it sound
day
easy.
of, go to the venue, set up.
Okay.
It's not too hard.
Well, it's a lot of work. You know, I try to promote a few things myself, largely nonviolence groups and social justice groups. And getting the word out is really, really tough.
Definitely.
Yeah. So,
Definitely.
even if there's interest on Facebook, you get 10 people saying they're interested or going, and you get maybe one coming out
One
to,
or two
to
show
the
up.
event. Exactly.
Yep.
So, ratio of 1 to 10 for Facebook, and it's even worse for a place like Meetup, where one of the groups that I deal with has some 500 members, and you get maybe 8 out for an event, and that's a good turnout. So if I hope you pack the house. This is definitely something that it's far more fun than the stuff that I'm doing. I can tell you that. It's I do systems administrator conferences, which aren't necessarily as much fun as a musical concert.
Hey, everybody's got their thing, right?
Yeah. Anything on the list here that particularly stands out to you? Music that you would pay to go see?
Well, honestly, I would pay to go see any and every one of these artists, and I have paid to see almost all of them.
Okay.
I guess maybe a mixed shout out to the people who are coming back to play again, who came last year, like Trauma Lanes and Ricky Mullen and Jordan Orford and Danger Liker. Honestly, without all of these bands, without all of these sponsors, we couldn't do this.
Yeah.
And they're making a difference.
Who was the benefit concert for last year?
It was for the Wildlife Defense League, which
League.
is a small nonprofit out of British Columbia who does direct action work for protecting endangered species, which at the time they were doing the gray wolf.
Okay.
And so basically they set up groups to go out and stop poachers, awareness stuff,
right.
A bunch of different stuff.
Stop the logging of the habitats, things like that.
Exactly. And the reason we chose that was one of Cody's favorite bands, Stick to Your Guns, did a benefit for them just before Cody passed away.
Yeah.
So it, again, seemed fitting at the time. And yeah.
All right. Let's turn to a little bit more music. We've got some more Alienator on tap here, and I will follow it up with a bit more Binoculars. And we'll see where that takes us.
Sounds good to me.
Alienator, and this is LRH.
One answer, step inside. Release the reactive mind. The bridge to freedom's died. Palace built of life. Zeon, translight a billion. The infinite. Zeon, translight a black man. We're on your life. LRH. 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 Living in a waking dream. Doesn't need more out of it. Evening adventure tunnel. Directed from the floor. Elrond, Snow White, take that, see the light, Zeon, Transwhite, blackmail. We're on your life. but you wanna live. I'm just know that the one you're gonna wish I was keep walking, talking on myself because we ain't stopping here because no. Yes, I will. So, give me a second. I'll show you all out now. And if you've got the time, go ahead. Sit right down. Don't worry. Just give me your time at your place now. Because you know that it's true. I wish I was young. Well, let's see you stand. If you're there, you're tell a pretty baby what you see on there. You're gorgeous. Simply stunning. Yeah, you know that it's true. You will stay right out. Oh, no. Oh, no. Give us 3 seconds and we'll start it all out. Now you say you got the time. Go ahead, lay right down, spread wide open. Now give us all your time, ready face young summer because summer is true. I wish I was. It's awful and it's true. I wish there were. It's strange and it's cruel. We don't see why. Yeah. Push, now pull, push and you pull. Now push and you push, push. Now pull. Now hold still while I walk away. Let's go. Push and you pull, now push and you push, and push till you pull. Now hold still while I walk away. Let's go. Hold still while I walk away.
That's Binoculars. We just heard Gather Wood, and before that, We Wish We Were You. Talking about that with Trevor Helm in the studio here. Sounds like, reminiscent of the 60s. And we just discovered amongst the two of us that there might actually be some Talking Heads similarity in there.
Definitely.
Yeah. We have on the line Vernon LeCraw from Binoculars. Hi, Vernon. How you doing?
Thanks. How are you, Bob?
Pretty good. Thank you very much for putting us in touch.
Yes, I'm very excited for this. I mean, thanks to Terry. Really, he's the one who inspired me. I think it's a great initiative he's throwing together, and we're very grateful to be on board.
Yeah.
Thanks for hopping on board, especially all the way from Montreal.
Yeah. So this is part of a tour you're doing, Vernon?
Yeah. It's going to be. We're a pretty young band. It's going to be our first time we hit the road for consecutive shows. So we got 7 days, 6 shows lined up. It'll be fun.
Yeah. And one stop here in Waterloo for a benefit concert.
Yeah. It's definitely the largest bill.
And the headline act, you're mopping up at midnight, and you've got an hour-long set.
Yeah. I mean, with so many bands, I'm sure if we push back a bit, right? I mean, but an hour
Probably.
That'll be be a lot to work with for sure.
The schedule is the first thing to go in one of these things.
Yeah.
Every time.
So, where'd you get started, Vernon? You said you're a new band?
Yeah, we've been well, this lineup's only been about 2 weeks, but the band started about just over a year and a half ago. I've been a supporting musician several times, and it's been rewarding, but I wanted to take on my own creative influence, like a project where it's all the songs that I write, so started that up, and it's been a learning progress for sure to take on the leader role in a project like that. But I've been loving it, and it's been very supportive.
How big's the band?
We're just a 3-piece. There's I do guitar and vocals. We have Joe Franken on bass, and right now we have Edward Scrimger on drums.
It's quite a sound you've got for 3 members.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, talking before we were on air, you mentioned Talking Heads. Big influence on you?
Well, I really enjoy their music. I never thought that it would translate into the music that I'm writing, but after a few shows recently, people have come up and said, hey, I hear the Talking Heads and the way you sing and whatnot. So I think, I'd like to use my voice not necessarily melodically or harmonically, but just dynamically.
Uh-huh.
So I think that's something very similar to the way David Byrne used his voice too.
Yeah. The vocals are similar. It's the intonation and whatnot is very similar. So
Lots
a
of
good
energy.
sound.
Lots of energy.
And the energy, absolutely.
Right on.
Got a release out? You sent me a pile of stuff.
Yeah, we have an EP which we'll be carrying with us to Waterloo in CD format. And then we have some demos up online, which is from the music you played today was off the demos release.
Yeah, I'm seeing this on binoculars.bandcamp.com.
Yes, exactly. And you can also find out about us on Facebook at facebook.com/binoculars the band.
Uh-huh.
And we'll be actually recording very shortly after we get back from our tour. So we'll have something coming up hopefully before the end of the new year.
Awesome.
Or end of this year.
Excellent. Yeah, so when you get stuff recorded, send us a copy and we'll add it to our rotation. Love to have CanCon music, and especially with a local connection to it, like people that are coming here to perform.
Okay, right on.
Yeah. So Terry, you've got Binoculars as the headlining act. What made you decide to put them in top place?
It again seemed fitting. They're coming all the way from Montreal on tour, and just I don't know, the music, it seemed like a good way to end off the night with what music that they play and the energy and
kind of stuff that you and your band are playing as well.
No, we're I don't know who I could compare it to. Yeah, we do oi punk. It's a little bit heavier, little more rock and roll-ish style guitar.
But a good compliment to what Binoculars is doing. Are you on your own lineup here? Are you playing in your own concert?
Not actually. So the guys who are in my band have another band called Scream Bloody Murder. So I'm gonna do a partial set with them, and they're calling it SBFM and Friends.
Okay.
So it's gonna be a combination of Backbreaker songs and Scream Bloody Murder songs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you get your licks in there too.
Yeah. I guess. Yeah.
How about you, Vernon? Do Binoculars have guest artists every once in a while?
Sometimes. Usually just to replace when a certain member can't make it to the gig. We haven't actually. You know what? We played one gig with 4 of us. We had a second guitarist. It was an experiment. It went well. It was a lot of fun, but it wasn't manageable because friends ended up moving away.
What does it take to bring another band member into an established group of 3?
Well, it takes them wanting to be on board, really, because it's all a matter of making sure that schedules can line up. And two of us, of the 3 right now, work freelance, so we have some flexibility in our availability. But it's always, if we're not hustling for the band, we're hustling for money, because it's just like that's the time divide. So it takes a commitment from the 4th party, really. And sometimes you can tell really quick, do they want this or do they not? And that's basically the defining factor.
What about musical styles and differences?
You know what? I mean, despite people being able to pick out certain sounds, like for instance, Talking Heads from us, we have a very eclectic draw of influences and styles that we like, and we've been experimenting with a more variety of different genres in our sets lately, and so I think the more eclectic, the better, especially for like builds. I like it when it's like a rap band with a punk band with a pop band at a show. And you go to the show, you're not like, garage rock night. Okay, the second garage rock band was good. It's like everyone's good for their own, what they bring to the table, So I think when working with other musicians, it's great when they have different backgrounds, because it really pushes each other to find where you can meet,
But you're not going to do a reggae number, a rock number, an oldies number in your repertoire. You're going to.
We only play original music right now, but we have done a pop cover. We've covered Kesha before. We like to mess around sometimes, and though it's original music, I'd say some parts of some songs maybe might be ballady, and then other ones more pop and straightforward. And then we have the post-hardcore influences and the garage and the math and experimental and that stuff too.
Okay, it's nice to have more original music. I mean, it's there's a bunch of bands that I know that do nothing but covers, and they're nice, they're good at it, but I like listening to something new every once in a while, and more than every once in a while. I prefer new stuff actually to the stuff that I've heard before. On CKMS Community Connections, we get so much new music in, we never have to repeat anything at all.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That's amazing. Yeah. Well, I got to say, I really appreciate CKMS for that, because I think a lot of people use their voice to say we want more covers. We want the bar with songs people already hear on the radio. You know what I mean? And I definitely am one for the exact opposite, like you, Bob. I want to hear new music as much as possible.
The band that we had on last week, Boys and I, with James Blacktop, they mentioned that to get the bums in seats was the word they used. They need to have some covers. The booking agents expect the bands that they're booking to play some covers. That doesn't seem to be the case here when you were setting things up.
No, I would never expect a band to play covers, and if a band wants to play just covers, then I would never expect them to play originals if that's what they do. And decided to reach out to them. Like,
so they
like,
should
honestly,
either be a cover band or they should be an original band,
or have both. Honestly, like, there quite a few of the bands on here actually, they do their own version of, say, a pop song or a rock and roll, like an oldies kind of tune, and on it, like, even then with a cover, unless they're 100% doing the song for what the song was already, usually people put their own spin on it and change the song a little bit anyways.
One of the things that I've noticed is that when a band is covering another band's song, they put their own spin on it. So a huge variation on what the original sounded like.
Yeah, I couldn't, like, and for that, honestly, like, it's, I don't know, we now live in a world where it's kind of hard to be fully original on a lot of things too. Yeah. Because a lot of things have been done. Yeah. So you have to, like, again, like, that's kind of why Binoculars, for example, why I really like their sound. It's like The Clash is the classic example. It's a clash of different sounds all together to make one awesome, different sounding sound. But, like, at the same time, you can pick it out for, say, like with the vocals and, say, the Talking Heads. But they're Binoculars. They're not Talking Heads. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Well, the music is definitely not Talking Heads, but there's elements of the vocal style that's
exactly.
Yeah.
And
so, was that intentional, Vernon, in the song that we played at the top there?
No, I mean, I've like, when I started learning music, I would learn a scale and just make a song. I was never one to learn covers. I wanted to keep as far away as possible from an influence leading and someone being like, "Oh, you were raised on Guns N' Roses. That's why you play guitar like Slash." You know, I really wanted to avoid that as much as possible. But hearing from people that my vocals sound like Talking Heads, I can understand it. But I think the main vocalist that really had an impression on me when I was growing up getting into music would be Benjamin Kowalowicz from Billy Talent. I was a big fan of their first album, and I think his dynamics and the way he pushed his vocals is probably what bled into me the most. Now that I'm not always yelling as much as he is, I guess that's where the David Byrne kind of, like, talky, uppity kind of part comes in. That, and I think I like to have fun, and I think that's kind of what comes out. It's less of a negative sound to the voice, not growly and stuff like that all the time, but just kind of lighthearted, but loud and expressive.
So, talking about having some fun, on your Bandcamp page, there's one standout track that looks, it's called Eddie Match and the Strikes Car Crash. And that does sound like it's not in the same vein as the rest of the music.
Right. So me and my friend Ariel were trying to start a project, and she wanted to call it Eddie Match, like the back of the matchbook.
Yeah.
You know, right? And I thought, oh, let's call it Eddie Match and the Strikes. We'll make a whole band, whatever. Unfortunately, it never came together, but I still wrote some punk songs as like a concept for this character called Eddie Match, who's inspired by destruction. So all of his creativity comes from seeing or experiencing destruction or whatever. So that one song is a little preview of the three. We're going to be releasing a Binoculars Presents Eddie Match and the Strike little playlist of these punk songs as this Eddie Match character.
Okay, so I've got this listed in the digital library as the band name, Eddie Match and the Strikes, which, you know, just struck me as being fun.
Yeah, it was just a fun concept for, it's supposed to be a fun band idea, yeah.
Okay. What is on your tour, Vernon? Where are you going? What are you doing? When can we...
We are heading out from Montreal on September 6th, and our first show will be at Duffy's Tavern in Toronto. Following that, we're there in Waterloo, second night. And, Waterloo's the 7th. Yeah?
Waterloo's on the 7th?
Yeah, okay. The 8th is Hamilton, and then we're up in Barrie for the 9th. we have a break. My hometown is Barrie, so we'll have a little day vacation, see the family and whatnot. And then we go to Peterborough, and then we come back out east to go to London. There's a small chance that we have something in Kingston on the 13th, but otherwise we're heading home on the 12th.
Excellent. Put that in the show notes too, so that we've got your list of stuff and people can follow you around the province and around the country as you're traveling.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move to a little bit more music. This is Eddie Match and the Strikes, Car Crash.
Fais bouger les autres. Faut bouger, je fais bouger les choses. Télékinésie, c'est la frénésie. Je fais bouger les choses dès l'après-midi. Je fais bouger les roses, marcher les deals. Je me bats pour la cause entre rage et défi. J'ai runné dans l'aile et fait marquer l'équipe. L'énergie dans l'air fait descendre les liquides. Sacrifier mes heures, j'ai l'album, mon équipe. J'en gagne et j'en perds, mais la passion résiste. Bouger, fais bouger les autres. Faut bouger, je fais bouger les choses. Dis-le fort que t'aimes pas. Ça fait bouger mon empire. Dis-le fort que t'aimes ça. Quand on apporte le game ailleurs, j'suis toujours le même gars. Après build un empire. Fuck tous ceux qui viennent pas. Quand on apporte le game ailleurs. J'ai fait le premier move, le deuxième vient de la foule qui écoute. On marche comme on le dit quand on parle de tout ce qui nous étouffe. Je fais bouger les choses et j'avance pour motiver les troupes. Oh. On marche comme on le dit quand on parle de tout ce qu'il faut résoudre. Faut souder les codes, oublier les doutes, calculer les coûts, tracer les routes, foncer devant qui t'a brûlé la rouge. Brûler le gaz et faire tourner la roue. Ils veulent pourrir la vie et je veux ouvrir la vue. Je veux interagir mais ils interabusent. Je peux bouger des livres en regardant la rue. Entre crime et délit, je fais bouger ma muse. Bouger, fais bouger les autres. Sur bouger, je fais bouger les choses. Dis-le fort que t'aimes pas. Ça fait bouger mon empire. Dis-le fort que t'aimes ça. Quand on apporte le game ailleurs, j'suis toujours le même gars. Après build un empire. Fuck tous ceux qui viennent pas. Quand on apporte le game ailleurs.
That is Koopsala with Bouger. We have in the studio Terry Helm. We had on the phone Vernon LeCraw from Binoculars. Go ahead, Terry.
Sorry. But that was great to talk to Vernon. We're really looking forward to having Binoculars down.
Really appreciate having him put us two in contact.
Touch. Yes, definitely. Yeah. Thank you very much, Vernon.
So after September the 7th, what do you plan on doing then?
I've got a few more shows lined up right now that I'm promoting. That'll happen also at Harmony Lunch. Beyond that,
tell me all about it. So what shows are you planning? Plug yourself here. That's what radio is for.
True, fair enough. On October the 11th, I believe, is the next one, which is quite a while from September still. But we're working with Rebel Time Records out of Toronto to do the Fall Offensive Tour, which we did in the Spring Offensive Tour. This time we're having Urban Viet Cong from Italy come and play. Barbed Wire Braces from Hamilton, and then my band Backbreaker will be playing, and we are still working on one other band for that one. And then I also have a show lined up for October 25th with a band from BC called Panic, Chaos, and Disorder. Get Off the Cop from Hamilton, Shit Rat, and The Essential Letdowns from Kitchener-Waterloo.
More local music. Love that stuff.
Yeah, basically that's what I do for the most part is local punk rock.
Concert promoter, impresario.
And then
Vernon Helm, producer.
And then beyond that, just practicing, playing shows with my band.
Excellent. So for your own band, do you have recording stuff in mind? I think you mentioned this earlier.
So we're writing, and we'll be recording as soon as we finish these fall shows that we're doing.
Okay. Winter's a time for studio?
Well, we're going to try and get it done within a month or so, and then be able to do a show or two at least before the end of the year, and then start doing shows again New Year and do some sort of EP release kind of thing. We're trying to do like a 5-song EP,
distributing on 3.9's cassettes.
I'm honestly not 100% sure yet what we'll be doing with it.
I have a contact. I know somebody, so could probably put in a good word for you.
Oh, thank you.
Anyway, when you've got more stuff, come back to the studio. Bring your band acoustically. I mean, we do have electricity in the studio, but acoustic probably works a little bit better. Can you do that?
I don't.
You're not an acoustic band.
Have to figure something out. Maybe
the all-electric Backbreaker orchestra.
So we can figure it out.
All right. Gonna go into a little bit more music. We're finishing off the hour with Binoculars, and then at 11 o'clock we've got Bobcat Bartolo and the Liberation, or maybe just Bobcat Bartolo himself. So that's lots more music to come. Trevor Helm, thank you a lot for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you a lot for doing the work you're doing, because the world needs more people to do promotion for good social justice causes.
Happy to be doing it, and honestly, thank you for having me on the radio. Thank you to all the bands and all of our sponsors, because without you guys, without real people who want to make the community better, I'd just be yelling at nothing. So
yeah, you're not yelling at nothing. Thank you. Back in a few minutes at the top of the hour. This is CKMS Community Connections. My name is Bob Jonkman. You're listening to CKMS FM 102.7 Radio Waterloo.
forget all of your easy feeling. Working hard is hard to forget all of those easy feelings. Well, here's a twist on that. She's been looking at. Say, shake down. Lots of you, a shame is wrong, the posture of it. But what did that mean to someone like me? That there is wonder beyond the starlight. Now remove your sword and armor and sense something new again, and you will feel anew again. While you try hard to forget all of those easy feelings.
I'm Owen Roberts from the GMOs. You are listening to Community Radio, CKMS, Radio Waterloo. We are live streaming on the FM band at 102.7 or on the Rogers Digital Network at 946 or on the internet at soundfm.ca. Community Radio broadcasts and promotes local news and entertainment through the spoken word and music.
Holy Road, where she goes, nobody knows. But Jesus close as the Holy Ghost. Down at my empty post. Holy Jeez, look at me, nobody feels like. So please stay with me tonight. Oh my love. Everything that I want from my dream. 'Cause life ain't what it seems. At least not lately. Still I say I'm okay. What else can I say? We're living life this way. Oh. Can I say life ain't gotten better yet? Though they keep promising, I was at the end of my road. Oh, legit, what is it that I've gone left? It don't feel like love. No, not even close. May the breeze in the trees and the birds in the bees. So good God, please, can't you take some time to help me? Every day I fall the same. Through all the pestilence and shame. Though nothing can ever quite compare to the way I feel when she's not there. Oh God, I wanna say where it is.
Hello, Bobcat Bartolo.
Hey, how are
welcome to the studio.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Appreciate that.
That was nice.
Thank you.
What's it called?
That's an original mine. It's called I'm Okay. It's about, how we all go through those things in life that, are kind of trials and tribulations that we really don't feel most times the need when people ask you how you're doing to actually tell them how you're doing. So
yeah.
good brush off.
How you doing? Fine.
Yeah, I'm doing fine. Doing okay. What else can you say when we're all living life this way,
Yeah.
It was written in kind of a little bit of a darker time in my life, but, things start getting brighter and start seeing the positive side and
Okay.
tracks positivity, right? So
Exactly.
yeah. Fantastic.
So, welcome back, I suppose. You were on the show a couple of weeks back when our executive producer, Jenny Strong, had interviewed you at the Nonviolence Day in the Park.
Yes. And that was a lovely celebration. I loved it. It was very blessed to be a part of it. Thank you so much for having us out.
That wasn't me. I'm an organizer. I'm an organizer for Nonviolence, but it's Matt Albrecht who puts on the show, and I help out. Put up some of the rigging, some of the signs.
Fantastic.
Lift and carry.
Fair enough. I was just introduced to everybody when we got there. I just assumed it as a team effort. To pull it off. So I lumped you in with the head honchos, I guess.
Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah, that's great. So you came out there, performed. It was wonderful.
Thank you very much.
Started you during setup. I know that the people putting up the booze were impressed. What made you come out there? That was the Nonviolence Day in the Park. It was a pro bono gig.
Yeah, we the whole idea was big part of the liberation. The whole idea is we were trying to be, I guess kind of like peacekeepers or such,
Mm-hmm.
So we'd like to be involved in a lot of community events as well as, events in the community that promote peace, right? Essentially, right? Which is nonviolence, teach you about they had the meditation set up there in between the sets. And it was just a great experience for me. And we were just blessed to be a part of it. We actually do our own kind of jam for peace once a year. We started it last year on September 21st for the UN's International Day of Peace.
Yes.
So it's kind of, again, lined up similar, obviously different ends. But again, I think the main message was the same. And we love to support that and kind of build our family by networking with people who are like-minded like yourselves.
Yeah. It's good to have more people working towards peaceful goals.
Exactly. Precisely.
There's enough nonsense in the world already.
Yeah. Exactly.
And so you had the interview with Jenny, or briefly featured on the show for the 5-minute interview, and I'm glad you came into the studio to do some more for us.
Oh, again, I can't stress how truly blessed both Sarah and I are to be here today. So thank you so much.
So you said you've done this before, the concert for the International Day for Peace.
Yeah. My cousin Vince, actually, he lives in the islands of Malta in Europe.
Yeah.
He actually contacted me last year, and he informed me that was the first I've heard of the day, right? Shamefully, it's something that everybody should know about. But again, you got to learn at one point to know, right?
So he approached me and said he's getting a little show going for peace. And his big vision was he wants to eventually build it so that on the same day we get as many countries in the world doing a show in the same for the same thing to kind of raise the vibration, right? Kind of show, you know, because we're already doing the Peace Week and a bunch of people get together and, you know, again, putting our heads together for peace, that I feel like the musicians around the world can, you know, organize together a little bit more and try to, you know, show that obviously this is something that we want. Maybe if we get enough people screaming about it, you know, maybe a long distance dream, but maybe eventually they'll stop dropping bombs, you know, but
well, yeah,
we'll see. We'll see.
Need some political will to do that.
Yeah.
It's tough to attract people to an event about peace, to an event about nonviolence.
Yeah.
The WR Nonviolence Group has been putting on the International Day of Peace human peace sign since, I don't know, 2013 or so. Got a whole bunch of people out the first time, 500 or so, but it's dropped off steadily to the point where we're only a handful of people now, and you can't make a peace sign with only, 5, 6, 7 people. It's just not enough to do that. So how do you attract people to a concert for peace?
Well, essentially, the basis again of the liberation is trying to promote raising the vibration. So a lot of the artists that we do work with are like-minded like us, right? It's more about the music and about oftentimes speaking against certain issues or even just personal issues, things that we all kind of reflect and go deal with, make people feel like they're not alone. So that's kind of the foundation, the basis of what we're trying to do. We're not trying to, we do play the bars scenes and the breweries, of course, but our favorite things to do are kind of like festival style gigs, house parties, things that, you can bring your kids to, as well as, older, right? We try to keep it a certain vibration, certain energy. And that's kind of because that's what we are promoting ourselves as. It gets a little bit easier to pack our people into the peace show because we're kind of essentially finding them through promoting our, I guess, little freedom label, as you would say.
Okay. And Liberation is more than just a band.
Yes. Liberation is actually, best way to describe Liberation is a collective of creative types. And we're trying to impact the world positively as well as make a living doing what we love on our own. So the whole mentality is we are stronger in numbers, right? So, there's lots of audio engineers out there who maybe, aren't working with anybody and we kind of want to get back into the scene. We have them on our team and do some work with us. Same thing with lots of different musicians. Same thing with painters. Try to network them in with some of the album arts and some of the, right? Trying to offer a platform that you can essentially be easier for you to sell your local art, right? It's in the very beginning stages right now. Again, we started this up about last year, going heavy, and we gained a lot of traction within the 1 year. A lot of big milestones that I'm very proud of. Sarah and I are both very proud of. And we played with a lot of amazing musicians that honestly, every day I'm truly blessed. Every single one I've ever played with from when we started this. I just want to thank them so much. Yeah. So that's essentially the idea. And then under the name of the Liberation is kind of how I promote our collective band, right? So a bunch of little smaller bands not smaller bands, but other, solo acts or bands that kind of doing their thing. And then we come together to do like essentially a big jam band. We're actually going to be showcasing the first installation of the jam band portion this September 7th at the Ontario Cannabis Festival. It's going to be
That's in Niagara, I think.
Actually at Binghamton's.
Binghamton's.
Yeah.
It's a local one.
Yeah, it's going to be local. Yeah, a lot of amazing bands coming up. We're truly blessed to be there. Some of the acts that we're going to be making up the Liberation makeup are Milena Boss, she's a fantastic artist from local here in KW area. As well as the psychedelic band Explore. They Anthony Stewart's longtime friend of mine, Jesse Cook, and Kyle Never Fails. He won't unfortunately be able to attend this. We have another drummer filling in. But,
all right.
And then we have our two new additions. Mike Sharp on electric guitar. He's crazy. You guys need to hear this man play. And Jacob Dickey. They're from the Mountain Music House. Actually, there was an article done with them. Community edition. Yeah. Essentially, it's I'm truly I'm blown away by it. Essentially, they made like a little music hub, so a place where bands can come and do little shows shows and get exposure, as well as kind of nurture essentially everything I've been trying to do and build. They have done when I found them. So I'm truly blessed that I know these people. And then again, Jesse Cook, Lena Boss, and Anthony Stewart. It's just going to be a great mix up of local musicians, and we're going to be making some really neat noises. So,
And as a collective, all of these people together are the Liberation.
Yes, essentially, right? My project on its own is actually Bobcat Bartolo, but I often, because the whole idea is we were trying to do shows and promote it as the Liberation, right? So Bobcat Bartolo and the Liberation, and we'd have a list of who was making up the Liberation on that night, right? Try to get artists a little more exposure, as well as it helps us out too, right? It helps us get new, fresh material and be working with some amazing people, and keeps me on my toes and, learning as much as I can. But at the same time, it offers a great platform for artists to be able to start getting their faces seen in venues, because, I know firsthand for this past year, trying to establish yourself, or at least get recognized to a point where, people are willing to let you come have a go. Yeah. Rather than, let alone like come back and do other things. Right. So we've been trying to build a lot of good relationships, a lot of great venues and places, as well as, again, with the musicians. It's
getting established in the first place. That's,
exactly.
Bit of a hump there, and then suddenly you're in demand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So are you in demand? You're in demand here.
You're in demand here.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So Bobcat Bartolo as the band. What's your lineup?
My lineup? We are kind of, essentially it is just me. We have Anthony Stewart and Jesse Cook from Explore. Were backing me up in my kind of solo project as well. But again, like the whole idea is we were bringing them because we were also promoting their stuff as well. Right. So depending on, if they decide they want to, the whole idea is you can come and go as you please, right? Like it's no contracts with us, nothing like that. Right. So it keeps it, as long as your heart and you feel like you're getting something out of it, you can, right? And that will make up the band. And then if, by the time whenever comes, it's pretty much rotating staff. Okay. Right? So right now we got some really good boys, and it's going to hurt me if and when they decide to, move on. But the whole point of this is to offer a platform for artists to launch themselves, as well as to keep my stuff going. Right. Right. So, no official people in the band, but again, do a lot of work with Kirsten Corbett. Yeah. She's been with me pretty much since Sarah and I, since the beginning when we started this.
Some nice YouTubes of the two of you playing together.
Yeah, there's actually a brand new video up. We just put up my Uncle Brian, Guy the Hood, out of Peterborough. We went up, we did live off the farm, outdoor recordings. Okay. It was like field recordings, but it was real neat. We got some really good captures and some really good video. And if you guys want to check that out, just Bobcat Bartolo and the Liberation on YouTube. Yeah. And on Facebook, you can check us out. And the track's called Garden of Greed. It's a Kirsten Corbett original. I'm backing her up, and it's really great. Check it out if you get it.
I've actually got that on the playlist for a little bit later on in the program.
Fantastic. So, amazing. Yeah. Stay tuned, guys.
Bit of prep there, it pays off in the long run, I think. Yeah. The music you were playing for us, own composition?
Yeah. Everything today is going to be my original stuff. Okay. My personal original stuff I wrote. A lot of different people kind of add their own flavors, and it's neat to kind of see when you have the whole band makeup how it kind of changes a little bit. But essentially, the foundation, the words, and the structure, and the rhythm is kind of.
You find that you're doing most of the performances solo rather than with Bobcat and company?
Well, we have been doing lots of shows together. Oh, okay. But I believe there's a lot of new opportunities in the original bands that they're, like I said, I'm the collective of the actual bands that people are working in, right? So
I think my prejudice comes because I've only ever seen you solo.
Fair enough. Well, you did see me with Anthony Stewart. That was Anthony.
Well, it's Anthony playing.
Yeah, that was Anthony playing. Yeah, he's my long time buddy. Truly blessed to play guitar with him everywhere. He's just a trooper. He's in like 4 different bands, though.
People do that. Yeah. Everybody that I've interviewed so far has multiple places where they perform and multiple bands that they're members of, and in various capacities.
Exactly. Exactly. But as some start to get a little more traction, or get your heart's always going to be more into what you were in when you came into this group, right? Like it may be cool, may be fun, but like realistically, it's your project that is now contributing. Right. So if your project is getting traction and you need to, then it's regardless of how it's going and what we're doing, right? It's a matter of, everyone's got to pursue what's good for them. Yeah. And that's kind of why I set this up like this, right? So I can guarantee I always had people to back me up if I need to, as well as keep giving other people opportunities to keep getting used to being
essentially what it is to be a working musician, right? Because being a really good instrumentalist and singer and being a working musician are two, as any musician who comes here will tell you, two completely different beasts.
There's
right?
the business of the music stuff, and there's the
Exactly.
music of the music stuff.
Exactly, right? But you can't sacrifice, if you want to do it for a living, you need to be either well-rounded in both or have someone that you really trust.
Right.
Luckily, mine's my beautiful fiance here. So I'm truly blessed that she can help me put some organization to the chaos. But
Fiance, manager, promoter.
She runs my life.
Booking agent.
I am the left brain.
Yes.
Excellent. Got something else for us, Bobcat?
For sure. This one's gonna be for if she's listening out there, Mama Cece. She's kind of like the group Mother Hen.
Okay.
She's a really good friend of ours, and she asked specifically to hear this one. So, Mama Cece, if you're out there, this one's for you. Build the boat. I's the boy that sails her. I's the boy that catch those fish and brings them home to light her. I's the boy that lost my ship. 'Cause I's the boy that sank her. But I's the boy that drags her back. A hoist by rust I anchor. I's the boy. I's the boy. I's the boy. I's the boy, 'cause I's the boy that loves my lass. I's the boy that saves her. I's the boy that brings her back from Davy's locker. I's the boy that lost his mind, but I's the boy that gets her. I's the boy that bides his time, 'cause I's the boy. I's the boy. I's the boy. 'Cause I's yes, I's the boy. Yes, I's the boy. Yes, I's the fight. And I, and I, and I, and I. Thank you.
I learned that song in grade school. It didn't sound like that at all.
Well, the intro is really the only part. I took essentially the part that everybody knows, right? Because if you remember, if the second part's supposed to go, if your last is Patty McGraw, if your last, right? It's traditionally an old East Coast kind of vibe. I kind of took the structure and I kind of made the whole idea of the boat as like your life. Your life is like a ship. You are the captain of your life. Negativity is essentially the water, right? If you maintain and watch what you're doing and you are mindful of everything you're going through, and again, going back to peace starts from within, right before you can go outward. The whole idea is if you're positivity and you have everything going how you think you should have it, and feeling it out, you're like a boat on the water, right? As soon as you let other people's negativity and other kind of ideals get in, it's like water into the boat and starts to sink below, right?
I's the by that sank her.
Yes, right? But I's the by that drags her back. I'll hoist by rust I anchor.
Yeah.
I's the by. I'm a Rasta man, so I believe in I and I, right? I believe in there's no you or me. Right? I believe in one entity, the consciousness of Jah, love, essentially the universe, if you want to take a scientific aspect.
All right.
So when I say I and I is the by, you know, a lot, if you don't understand the context, it kind of sounds like, well, how many of him are there? It seems to be just him. But I and I, because I is the by, I and I is the unity of everyone, right? To me, essentially, and you again call it universe, call it God, whatever form you want to, the united of everything, right? The pinnacle of everything connected, which is life.
Everything's connected,
right? So I believe that we are essentially the same being, just living different lives, right? Essentially, the universe getting to experience itself, right? So for me to disrespect you would essentially be to disrespect the Almighty, which would be to disrespect myself and disrespect all of creation. Same thing if I do not love myself and respect myself, it is to disrespect you and to you know what I mean? You have to I and I, right? Because I am you and you are me and we are all together. Beatles even got it, right? But
I've heard the phrase "we are all one."
Exactly. Yeah, that's again another way to put it, right? Just many different ways of saying the same thing, essentially.
Exactly. And so that's now enveloped in Eyes Dubai, which was probably never envisioned to be such a spiritual song.
Yeah, exactly. I kind of like it. I get a little more of a kind of try to cross like folk with like a reggae kind of vibe. You end up getting like this kind of pirate rock kind of feeling.
Pirate rock.
Yeah,
yes,
that's the way I can describe it.
When I was putting your stuff in the digital library, I was kind of stuck for a genre to put it. I chose folk rock, but pirate rock would have been good.
I have a lot of influences. I get, like I said, I can't just play one style of music. I can't just be in a blues band or just a country because I get bored with repetition.
I talked to Trevor about that before. He wants to go to a concert where there's a whole bunch of variety of music being played, not just the one genre. Exactly. And even within his own band, he wants to play a bunch of different things too.
Exactly. And now the one thing we have found we have to be careful of is how, again, obviously everywhere you go is fine, but we've been learning that how you set up your set list is very important if you're going to do that. Because if you don't have transition and have it kind of, for example, start with like a country, get into more rock, then to more of a punk, and then into more of like a kind of like a ska, and then into more of a reggae, right? Yeah, that transit. Whereas if you just go from the country to the reggae, it kind of starts to eventually, if you do that enough times, sounds like someone's random playlist on their iPod. You know what I mean? So it's very, and again, that's what we found at least. I'm waiting for. And everything I say is not how it is, right? Anybody says is how it is.
I'm sure when you're playing, the audience expectation influences what you're actually playing and how you play it.
Exactly. Precisely, right? You got to play to your audience, right?
Yeah.
But that's not to say that an audience that likes a certain type wouldn't like another type. You just have to palette it and transition so their brains can comprehend what just happened, right? It's not such a strain where they're on the rhythm of country and now it's.
To be honest, the country music audiences that I know have no interest at all in reggae, ska, or punk.
Fair enough. But I'm talking about more at least around my area, the local bar scenes, a lot of more like country rock, I guess you would call it, not necessarily full-blown country. You're right, because you are definitely right. Like purebred country and Western music that's what it is, right? Yeah. But as far as like the local bar scenes and things like that, I find even a lot of the initial mentality, right? If you palette it well and you do a good enough job, good music is good music, right? So even if you transition well and you for a moment continue on, you can find ways to sneak in. That's the best way I'm saying. You got to give them what they want while still finding ways to sneak in what you want them to hear, right?
That's right.
And that's how, in my opinion, you actually can. At least for me, what we've been seeing. Again, I can always be proven wrong, right? But
but I'll bet you're choosing your venues too, or Sarah's choosing your venues specifically tailored to the type of music that you want to play.
For sure. But we also try to make ourselves, like, for example, we do mostly the bar and scenes, but Kirsten and I, we just did a show at the Hacienda.
Okay, Hacienda Syria.
Yeah, exactly. And we did essentially our softer side stuff, more of our bluegrass country folk stuff, right? That's one of the joys about being very bored. You learn how to play lots of different styles of music as much as get passionate about them, right?
Right.
A lot of people I find they get passionate about one style of music, and that's nothing that's anything wrong with that, but you get passionate so that way when they go to play other styles, they may be able to play it, but their heart it's not really in it. Whereas me, like I'll go play reggae with a reggae band for an hour and a half. I'll be just as happy as playing with a Southern rock band. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I enjoy being in the vibe, whatever
Yeah,
that is.
yeah.
And I think that comes out in my music. A lot of weird sounds.
Not weird sounds, but interesting stuff.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
All right, cool. Thank you.
I had to, put the playlist together and got the whole gamut of Bobcat Bartolo. So it was good.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
I appreciate you being here. So, one more?
Sure. Yeah. This one is not released yet.
Oh, the new stuff.
Yeah, this is the newest of the new. We just recorded it at Red Room Recordings with Josh down there. He's done such amazing work for us. Truly blessed to work with him. We're networked through him through Swampy and the Note Troll, Dr. Swamp Thompson. He's a local musician in the area, as well as a PhD in, I believe it's biology. I don't know, but
I'm calling it space botany.
I'm calling it space botany. Yes, how to grow things essentially in space. But anyways, that's gonna be released. All the information on everyone involved with that will be released on YouTube, on all the platforms. This is another one. You may recognize the chorus, but again,
Okay.
this one's written for my dad. Stuck by me through a lot of not so good things, Through the thunder and life storms, Daddy kept me safe and warm. Through all the wrongs that I did right, through all the tears I made him cry. It seems that I wasted time, stuck between the confines in my mind. But I swear to God I've changed and I won't let you down this time. It's still a light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. It's still a light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. Little light of mine. Forgive me, Daddy, for I have sinned. Troubles don't know where to begin. Damn this wickedness within my soul. Teach me to live your way and go. Keep the cold fire from my soul. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Little light of mine. Thank you.
Just when you think you can sing along, it turns out you can't really sing along.
But then you can listen to the material some more, and then you learn the words, and then you can sing along.
Perhaps. I don't think I could put into it quite what you did. It's this comes from inside.
Yeah, I try to mean everything I play, every note, every word. It's hard to do that sometimes, especially when you play a lot of material again and again, and especially doing shows and getting ready and rehearsing with other. Sometimes it loses a little bit of the shine, but it's always there within you as long as you remember how the feelings felt when you wrote it. That's the one thing about at least for me as a musician, is it's kind of a bittersweet. I find that when my music sounds the best is when I'm hurting the most.
I've heard that from everybody that I've had in the studio. The best music comes from the worst experiences.
Yeah.
Well,
that's for me at least. That's but to really nail it, it's kind of essentially every time you play, reliving where you were at, right? For that moment, then you get back and everyone applauds and it's a nice,
Yeah.
It's like a relief. It's kind of like, it's the suffering was worth something, it kind of something good came out of, that's for me at least personally, right? And again, everyone's different, but for me, that's the thing, right? I can take something really not so good and not beautiful and at the core, essentially ugly, and take something beautiful out of it, right?
So
try to.
So there's catharsis in that, and that you come out okay?
Yeah. Exactly. Come out exactly. Like it's like a relief almost.
Yeah.
Life after I play a song and I really mean it is like the most beautiful, because it's almost like reliving all those years of, a few seconds of then being I'm here now. Everything's great. I got, amazing lady that loves me. I'm talking to fantastic people on.
So young Bobcat had musical experiences.
Played lead clarinet in a band in Malta from the country there.
Okay, yeah.
My dad's family's from. My dad doesn't play, but music always was big in the house.
Right.
A lot of Beatles and Elvis Presley. And,
okay.
Right. A lot of the oldies I got from that. But a lot of the experiences I'd say were, you kind of go through things and it locks up and you don't know how to express them. And then one day it comes out in a song and you're like, wow, I guess I felt that way. Right. But yeah, it's. I was just wanting to make people happy.
Yeah. So you picked up a guitar at around 11. When did you start writing? That's when you found the Alta as well. Everything takes practice, I suppose.
Exactly, right. The songs you write towards later on in I guess your career or your ability, your journey as a musician. Let's say that. Sorry, I lost my train of thought.
Yeah, the journey starts. I've heard from a few people now. Starts in the early teenage years, and but people are developed when they hit their 20s, I suppose, maybe late teens, and so it sets up a career for them, or at least a long-term hobby.
Yeah, exactly.
People that we've had in the studio, of course, have been working towards a career in this. You finding that this is a viable career? Or do you need a day job to keep things going?
Well, it's essentially like any other business, right? If you go to start your own business in anything, when you start off, you can't really expect to make a lot of money, right? Because you're essentially establishing yourself, making connections, building, right? Yeah. Making investments. There's actually a lot of cost. There's a lot of cost. If you want to do it properly, in my opinion, again, people can prove me wrong. I'm not saying that there's only one way to do anything, but in my experience, to do things properly, it actually costs a lot of money, a lot of money. But to me, it's worth it, right? As long as I can sustain myself doing what I love to do. And I can't see myself doing anything else. Everything else I've done everything from building houses to being a chef to working in a rubber factory, to doing yard, every job you can think of. And like, maybe something physical activity will make me happy. Nope, that didn't do it. Yeah. Maybe something cooking all day. I love cooking. Nope, music's the only thing that to me made sense to me.
I turned a hobby into a job and it wasn't fun anymore.
Right? Yeah.
It's a very dangerous line to straddle.
Yeah. I can imagine that.
Yeah.
So
if I'd honestly, it's been sometimes I pulled up my hair so much I looked at Sarah. I'm like, we're done. I'm not doing this anymore. She looks at me and like, we're not done. I'm like, yeah, you're right. We're not done. Sorry. I was just being silly for a second.
When you said you have expenses, this is an expensive way to do it, or it costs money to do it right.
Yeah.
What sort of things? I mean, obviously you've got a beautiful guitar there, pink.
Yeah, this one actually, it's funny. All the guitar.
I'm pulling your chain.
It's actually not pink, it's salmon, but
A salmon guitar, yes.
rockabilly salmon. Funny enough, all the guitars were the cheapest thing. All the guitars I have right now were given somehow. I've inherited from a friend of mine or another.
Okay.
I did not pick most of my guitars. They at my rough times when I was, still trying to. Before I realistically understood what it took to be a working musician, I thought, if I just go out and play, eventually I'll be on stage, right? It's not how that works. You can get good doing that way, build up your air sustain and your breathing, right? Busking, right? But realistically, to further your career, busking's not really going to do that. But what will is having really professional photos of you. Okay. Right? Having a credential of, say, for example, when we did our peace show, right? International Day of Peace show last year, September 21st. Right. Obviously, on top of being a great thing that we were doing and we believed in, it also was amazing to be able to have that on ours and the people that we worked with resume, right? So it's a lot of.
So when you put on the Peace show last year, you booked the venue yourself. It wasn't that you were invited to a venue to perform.
No, we set it on ourselves. It's our show that we run and we do. We take care of the venue. We take care of the acts. We take care of everything. And it was our first show of that caliber. But again, at the end, there was a lot of learning curves. It was great. It turned out great. The show was nice. It was amazing. We got some amazing photos out of it. We had some great video shots. Everyone got to be on stage and work together for the first time. We got to be, experience what it was like. But yeah, we rented out Wilfrid Laurier's Maureen Forrester Hall. Okay. Recital hall. So we had the ushers come in, sit people down. We had, our own green room and everything. It was nice. It was a good experience. Right? Yeah. But again, right, some of these things that you do, right, you need to invest a pretty penny if you want to see some out of it, right? No one's going to want to even hire you if you don't care enough about your music to get a proper recording demo. It's hard to get booked on a cell phone recording. That's,
I expect.
No matter how, and you can get some neat captures with some of these, but essentially, you know what I mean? It's all the material that you need at first before people are able to look at it and go, okay, that's worth me throwing money at it to sponsor you, or throw money at it to get you in the studio, or I am at a studio and I want to build my credentials. I'd like to have you in the studio so I can do something nice, so I can charge people more money. You know what I mean? It's the whole idea is you need to invest the money. You got to show how much you love it before anyone could even bother even taking a look at it, let alone believing in it, right?
Because you're in competition with those people who've already done that.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And that's why we're trying to take a little bit of a different approach. I find a lot of, and again, we're seeing how it goes, right? Yeah. Everyone's just kind of one foot in front of the other, testing out the waters. But I find most music acts, like to, obviously there's a formula, right? You come up with a song, you polish off the song, and then you record the song, and then you have some videos of the song, and then you release all that nice polished stuff. And essentially what it does is it puts the band or the artist on a pedestal, right? Essentially, right? Wow, they're amazing. Then everyone, it doesn't matter how amazing you are when you first start writing a song, it's not all going to sound good, right? So essentially what we try to do is if you go online, we do have our videos that we're promoting. Right. But we also have our little segment that's called our family memories. They're videos that maybe aren't necessarily as polished. Some of us in rehearsal, some of our joking around.
Nice jam video of a birthday.
Exactly. Birthday jam at Aunt's house. We had we had, I think a good between 8 and 10 people in that room, just jamming away. No one ever done. And we ended up singing them happy birthday. It was great. But we try to bring people along the journey with us, right? We want you guys, and we want everyone to be essentially a part of as we get our milestones, as part of as we get our, try to promote everything rather than just the polished stuff and the funny things,
And you're doing that as a way to get more people into providing their music without necessarily incurring the huge costs that you've experienced.
Exactly, right? Like Kirsten, the videos at the Garden of Greed video, which we have up on YouTube right now, as well as the Toxic. We haven't released that one yet, but that one we're finishing that off. But both of those videos are Kirsten Corbett's original material. But she was with me for so long that I got my Uncle Brian. We set it up. We, set up so that we could record and get her stuff. So essentially what we're trying to do. That's you
benefiting from Kirsten's investment.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Well, she invested her time with us. We went and we got all the videos and all of the stuff set for her.
Right? So we set that all up.
But
We
her
took
music,
her music,
yeah. Okay.
And that was because she was working with us and doing things. And the longer we do work and we can do things, the more things we can kind of help each other out with. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So essentially.
Should we play that? Garden of Greed?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see if I can find that here. It is on the list. Kirsten Corbett and Bobcat Bartolo, Garden of Greed.
People die places we can't pronounce. Our time is running out. Oh yes, it's running out. Change the face of what we call our own. Now put out for these homes. Go home. Everybody sees a dollar sign before the starting light. People die places we can't pronounce. Our time is running out. Oh yes, it's running out. Change the face of what we call our home. I'll put out for this home. Oh, in the garden of greed. Come, but the bleeding heart. Ignorance that we feel, yeah, we see. Poison cleaning, shot out in the garden of greed. Always come, but the bleeding heart. Ignorance that we feel, yeah, we see. Poison cleaning. Out. Kirsten Corbett and Bobcat Bartolo, Garden of Greed. What can you tell me? What can you tell me about that?
About that song in particular?
Yeah, that song in particular.
Kirsten would be probably the person to, unfortunately she couldn't be here today, but she'd probably be the person to ask as far as the content of the song. But the material as far as the video, we went up and we decided to capture one of her longstanding original songs. Kirsten is an amazing artist. she, on top of all the feeling and obviously having a great voice, she has the magic ability. I can only write about things that I have experienced firsthand. It's almost like the weird. I feel like I can't really even take credit for the songs I write because it's kind of I play and it comes out and I press record and we go back and refine it a little bit, right? But she has an amazing ability to sit down. You can give her a topic, any topic, and she'll write you a whole in-depth song, chorus, verses, and in-depth as if she was a part of that thing. So she has this amazingness to be able to look at things and word it.
Put herself into it.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Which I honestly blown away. I'm truly blessed to be able to work with her. She's actually at Ryerson finishing up her master's right now.
In music?
No. She's communications and was it anthro?
She finished up at Laurier for anthropology, and I can tell you, actually, that's what helped to birth Garden of Greed was her studies in anthropology.
Okay.
Very, very much fueled the writing of that song for her.
Yeah.
I wonder if they got any of that on the microphone.
yeah. It's, microphones are supposed to pick things up, so.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Sadly, we're down to 2 mics in the studio. It's the board actually.
They're really nice mics, though.
These microphones are nice. Yeah. That microphone there's a little shrill, and that's the one that's not working, so it works out just as well. Yeah. Sadly, doing recordings in a radio control room doesn't give you the best audio quality. So although I intend to extract the audios and put it into the digital music library, it won't be a showcase of your of the quality of the sound.
No worries. Yeah. I'm just happy to be here. Thank you so much for having us. It's
good to have you here.
Honestly, like this is a dream come true right now. The 2 things I always wanted when I decided I wanted to be a musician, 2 milestones in my head were I always wanted someone to like point at me while it was their show, invite me to come up and play, which a buddy of mine did at Rhythm and Brews, which was neat. And this is my second milestone was to play live to air. So thank you so much. This is honestly just really.
I thought you're about community radio, right? CKMS Community Connections, which is community radio for the community, by the community, and about the community.
Yes,
so,
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that so much. It's amazing.
So Bobcat, I'm sure Mrs. Bartolo didn't say, Bobcat, come to dinner. How'd you come by the moniker?
Well, it kind of just happened. I guess the best way I can describe, I love bobcats. They are essentially the equivalent to the North American panther, kind of smaller cat, takes what it wants. Nothing really eats it or screws with it. It just kind of does its
top of the food chain.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. Right. And it just kind of, but again, it doesn't come out till it needs its stuff. Right. It's actually one of the most affectionate animals on the planet.
Really?
To their own kind. Yeah.
To their own kind. Yeah.
Well, again, if you happen to breed bobcats, again, they form the same kind of bonds with, very affectionate, very nuzzly,
really?
Okay. Yeah.
But just an order of magnitude larger than your average house cat.
Oh yeah, like about the size of the table.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah. Okay. They get pretty not like a mountain lion, but still it's if you anger it, it could hurt you pretty bad. So
wouldn't want to do that. It suits you, Bobcat Bartolo has a mellifluousness to it.
Thank you.
It rolls off the tongue nicely. Bobcat Bartolo and the Liberation.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
And in the studio we also have Sarah. Is this Sarah from Serotonin?
This is Sweet Serotonin.
Good to have you in the studio too. So you've been with Bobcat for a while?
We've been working on this project for about a year. As far as personally, we've been together a few years.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Bobcat introduced you earlier as fiancé.
Indeed. So eventually we'll get around to the actual paperwork part, but as far as, real life factors in, we're married, it's done. We start every day, end every day. Okay. Fight about the bills, fight about the dishes, love each other at the end of every day. So it sounds like marriage to me.
Right. Really fight about the bills. It's mostly separate bills.
This is true.
So you're doing the business side of Bobcat's musical career. Any music in you?
No, not really. Now, being around all of these musicians, they are so kind and so supportive. I used to hang out with musicians and find them just incredibly intimidating. So I never picked up an instrument because why bother? I'm never going to be able to do that. What's the point? This group in the Liberation now, they are just so loving that I'm picking up the guitar, I'm playing, I'm very, very happy, but I am not a musician.
Okay. I've never managed stringed instruments myself. I have to, a recorder, maybe a harmonica. I can make it make noise. But
Yeah.
that's about the size of it for me.
That's about it. So
Yeah.
I'm just going to stay in the background and do all the left brain worky stuff for them because they have a lot to share. I feel like music is a universal language. It's one of those things when you can't find the words to communicate what's hurting you, music is out there. There's a song out there that is completely outlining everything you are feeling right now. Somebody has already been there, and it's one of those things that it's healing, whether you're the songwriter or the person listening to it. It's very, very healing because you know you're not alone in that moment.
Making a connection that words otherwise just.
I'd like to get into what's forthcoming. You've got a couple of shows that you've mentioned already.
Yeah.
But having just spoken to Sweet Serotonin, maybe you could play a song.
Play Sweet Serotonin. Okay.
Yeah.
This one's a little bit difficult to do without the boys, but I'll do my best. It's a little more bluesy, jammy kind of vibe, so we'll see what we can do with it. Maybe I'll just take out some of the solo stuff. All right. Baby, this one's for you. I love you. On radio. Bet none of your other boyfriends ever did that for you. Oh yeah, I was feeling oh so cold. Then I got this lonely feeling right down to my bone. Hey, baby, the one thing I got to tell you is I wanna be holding you close. She's my sweet serotonin. Makes me happy when I'm feeling sad. They're all for the dreams that's in my mind. Oh, now I'm gonna love you one more time. Got me feeling fine. Yeah, baby, oh, can't believe I can call you mine. Eyes the vine that sails the boat. Yes, sir, eyes the vine that sails her home. By and by, as the by, mine's the brightest star you see up in the sky. Gotta feel so fine. Yeah, baby, I'm crazy for your love. Can't believe I can call you mine. Come on, ho. A little bit different than I usually play that one. So it's kind of hard. You don't have the band. Usually they keep the groove going and I'm just wailing away. But if you do that by yourself, people forget what the song is and then all they hear is. So tried.
It worked.
Thank you. Fantastic.
It was good to see the two of you doing that together.
It's one of my favorites.
I can imagine. All right. A couple of minutes left.
Okay.
Next week, next Saturday, you've got what? What are you doing next Saturday?
September 7th?
On September 7th, we are doing the Ontario Cannabis Festival at Binghamton's Park. We are going to be playing with a lot of other amazing local acts and other acts as well, not just local, but should be a really good time. Everybody come on out and, celebrate peace, love, and, brand new legalization, I guess.
Brand new legalization. Right? Almost a year,
Almost a year. Yeah, almost a year.
Yeah.
And I think they're finally starting to figure out all the bugs. They kicked it off. Right?
I think there's a lot of room for improvement yet.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
But seems like things are starting, I don't know, hopefully.
Yeah.
But yeah.
After that, anything else?
After that, on September 21st, we got details on our Facebook page about the Ontario Cannabis Festival.
Yeah.
And the ticket link.
And the ticket link as well, so you can buy tickets.
Okay.
And then on September 21st, we have a day of peace at Rhythm and Brews Brewing Company. Kind of like a little jam for peace, a little showcase of some of the acts.
That's in Cambridge, right?
In Cambridge, yes. And that's going to be this year's theme is climate action.
Aha. You're hitting all my hot buttons.
Yeah. So what we still have some finalizations to do with the charity that we're doing. It is a free show, but we're kind of doing it as a fundraiser.
Okay.
But we're waiting for the finalizations. I don't want to be saying anything on the radio until we have finalizations.
Fair enough.
Right?
Yeah.
But that will all be announced on Bobcat Bartolo and the Liberation on Facebook. Like us, add us. You can check out some of the other bands that we're networked with and other music that we're networked with. One person that has been bugging me that I forgot to do a shout out to real quick. My drummer, Drew, fantastic, amazing drummer, Drew Dockrell, sorry, Drew Dockrell.
Mm-hmm.
I never use his last name when I speak to him. Amazing man, even better musician, and just blessed that he drums for me. He's been with us since the beginning as well. Kind of comes in and out. So yeah.
Shout out to Drew.
Okay,
can you play me out?
Yeah.
All right. You've been listening to CKMS Community Connections on CKMS FM 102.7. It's a show sponsored by Radio Waterloo. Our executive producer is Yennefer Strong. Co-producers are J.D. Jordan and Dylan Bravener and Jeff Stager. I'm going to be taking a break for a couple of months. So next week, Monday, the something in September, it'll be Labor Day weekend. I think we'll have J.D. Jordan hosting. So it's been very good to be with you all. Many thanks to Bobcat Bartolo and Serotonin for coming into the studio and playing music for us. Coming up next, Lost in the City, the Crime and Punishment Show.